So this is the training phase that I used to peak the first ever female to pull 300 kilo deadlift, raw and natural. Before we get into that training phase exactly, I need to take you back to when I first started creating this phase. So I needed to create a new peaking phase for a deadlift. And I'd been using low reps and higher sets for a little while, and I came up with doing the 12x2 method, which initially when I first ran this the first time with an athlete, I used the 12 sets of 2, and with the load selection, I managed to get about 5 or so weeks of progression before I felt like the 12x2 ran its course. And then I decided to drop to about a 50% volume drop to 6 sets of 2 and kind of carry on the linears. After running this phase a couple of times, I realized that I need to have constraints to reduce the load a little bit during the 12 sets of 2 section. So I ended up coming up with a 90 seconds rest constraint on the 12 sets of 2, which made this a little bit more challenging, so percentages that you used had to come down a little bit. Over the course of maybe 5 or 6 trial and errors, I ended up settling on a training phase that I now just call the 12x2 method. This training block is 3 weeks of 12 sets of 2 with 90 seconds rest time, followed by a 50% volume drop to 6 sets of 2, where the rest time then extends to 3 to 5 minutes, whatever you require. And load will start off fairly reserved at like the 60 to 70% mark, and then it will linear to the end of the 6x2 being roughly around about the 90% mark. It'll then be followed by a speed deload week, and then a top set week, or if you were competing, this would be your max out week. After much trial and error, I put this together and I'll give it Lucy unders, and she ran this training block all the way up to Ultimate Strongman when she pulled the first ever 300 kilo deadlift. We've also had this phase ran with hundreds of athletes across the years, and it's got such a high success rate of building a 1 rep max. It's absolutely amazing. The only thing you do require to get the most out of this phase is you need to have a good base of aerobic conditioning and ability to handle volume before you start this phase, and you'll be able to reap the rewards. If you want to run this training block, make sure you check out the MST Systems app. It is within the app. And if you want to learn more about programming and training phases, check out the MST Systems course.